Welcome to It's Been How Long? The podcast about Cherry Hill High School East students from the late 1970s and early 80s. This is Kara Siegel. I'd like to welcome in Chris Marks to the It's Been How Long podcast studio. Hey, Chris.
Hey, Kara.
Thanks for agreeing to be on the podcast today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Where are you? What are you doing? How you enjoying your time these days, 40 years plus after graduation?
Well, where I am is Birmingham, Alabama. I am enjoying my time. I'm still employed, working full time, working from home. Have been since before the pandemic, but that was only one day a week, and now it's all the time. And what was your third question?
Where,
Third
kind of where
question.
are you and what are you doing? So what do you actually do from home?
Oh, I am a business analyst. I work for Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Alabama. So um,
Okay.
that's
All
what
right.
I do. Yep.
And you analyze business.
Yes, I do. I work in the claims department, developing reporting for them, and handling questions that anyone in that area has. I'm not the only one, obviously, but I'm one of a team of people that develop or report on the performance of the people in our area.
Got it. Got it. So what do you do for fun down there in Birmingham?
Oh, for fun. I'd say that these days what I'm doing for fun is, or where I spend my time doing things, is playing Magic the Gathering,
Hmm.
collectible card game. I like that. And I also am part of a Dungeon and Dragons group.
Oh, wow.
So so I do that once a week. Last night was another fun session.
That's great.
Yeah.
And did you do those things back in high school? I imagine the magic thing, that's a online, but like Dungeons and Dragons originated as an in-person, right?
Well, D&D didn't start until after we graduated. I
Okay.
think like 1983
Okay.
ish.
All right.
That it came out, and that's when I was playing in college with a
Okay.
group of friends. So yeah, that was later. Magic the Gathering is a collectible card game that
Oh,
started in
okay.
1993.
Okay.
So, and I was part of the first wave of players that got introduced to that too. So
Okay.
yeah.
So what did you do for fun back in high school? And what groups or organizations did you belong to at East?
Okay, well, yeah, for fun, I can't tell you that, but what I was involved in,
Fair enough.
but
Fair enough. Fair enough. I think the statute of
uh,
limitations is passed, but that's
yeah,
okay.
I have to say that a lot of the things there's like two primary things that I like was involved in or did for fun, and one was like friends that I met even before high school that carried on and grew, and then there's the musical background that I had that helped to expand and like grow the circle of friends that I had. And in high school, I was in the jazz band and I was in the marching band.
And what remind us what you played?
I played keyboards.
Okay.
Of course, in marching band, no, I didn't play the glockenspiel. I joined up with my best buddy at the time, AJ Malney, who was the tri drummer, or I forget. He'll correct me on that, but it was like it was actually like four drums. But he was the head of the percussion section, and also the drummer in the band that I joined around sophomore year.
And what was that called?
What was it? Well, we went through a number of names. I think Phoenix was an idea, and then I think Equinox, I think, was an idea. Eternity. We had like a number of different bands. Our claim to well, our claim to fame, but a claim to fame could be we opened up for Reggie Woo's band
Oh, okay.
when he
Um,
was
I'm gonna
playing.
plug
They
Reggie Woo's
rented out
band right
this
here. Here we go.
music
Heaven's Edge.
hall, huh?
I said I was plugging Reggie's band right there. Heaven's Edge.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So you opened up for Reggie's band at the
There was some music hall in like Mount Laurel or
mhm.
somewhere that they rented out, and they auditioned us and another band. I don't know the other band.
Okay. But
I
you
know
got to
that
open
they
for
didn't
them?
have a drummer and they were trying to play. Um, they, um, they were trying to play a song by Rush that they just like couldn't get down, and Victor Scaracamaza, the drummer, like gave up on them after like trying a few things. So we pretty much passed the audition by default, and we
Okay.
got to open for him.
That's cool. That's
Hmm.
great.
Hmm.
So did you have a job back in high school?
Yes, I did. Um, AJ Malmy and I first our my first job, probably his too. We were probably illegally employed by Amoco Gasoline Company on the turnpike behind the 7-Eleven on the
Mhm.
water tower. Like I'm pointing to it, like
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
right? Uh, but you take the little access road behind the 7-Eleven and get to it, and so yeah, AJ neighbor across the street said like, oh yeah, we're looking for people to pump gas. It's like, oh yeah, well, we'll get a job. And we did, and we worked there like about long enough for the manager that got fired for whatever reasons, and under new management they discovered that we were not 18 years old. We were way under 18, and we're given our money. But that was my first job. Now, the first real job I think I had was at Richmond's ice cream
Oh,
parlor,
okay. Yeah.
and many of you probably remember that.
Yeah.
And I worked there. I got that through another fellow band member, Phil Fleming, who was
Okay.
from the class of '79, who was working there. And I worked every job there, from dishwasher to soda jerk to, you know, server to short order cook.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great experience.
Hmm.
So what did you do after graduation?
Well, after graduation, I was like, what do? You go to college, right?
Okay. Not everybody,
And
but okay. Where'd you go?
I'm like, well, I had really no idea what I was going to do, or where to go. But again, AJ was my one of my best buds, and he was going to University of Delaware.
Okay.
And I figured, well, okay, that's close enough that I can come home for the weekend, far enough away that my parents can't visit me every day, right? And so I decided to apply for there. What subject? Mathematics. And I really didn't know what I was going to do with that. As a thing, I should have listened. I should have listened to Rob Thurston, and it was like eighth, ninth grade. It was something he was in like algebra or something, and I remember him at a class, so he's like totally exasperated, listening to the teacher go over something, and he said, where did all the numbers go? What the hell? Where are the numbers? And I should have listened to him, but I still had fun with math, so I decided to become a math major. I went to the University of Delaware, and I was there for 2 years before they kicked me out because I had bad grades.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay. All right. What did you do at that point?
At that point, I was back living at home and working at Marlton Auto Parts,
Okay.
delivering auto parts, driving like a maniac with a 1976 Chevy van,
Mm-hmm.
just doing that, working at Richmond's as well until like I decided to like just go full time at Marlton Auto and did that for a little while before I figured like this is really not what I want to do forever.
Mm-hmm.
I went back to school at Glassboro State
Yeah.
College, which is now what,
Rowan,
Rutgers?
is that
Rowan?
Rowan? Is that right?
Yeah, Rutgers is
Yeah.
that's where Phil went. Yeah, Rowan University.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
whatever they call it. I went there and I was actually moved in with another high school friend, Mike Garofalo.
okay.
Yeah, we shared an apartment there and went to school. He had been in the Coast Guard for a while, so he was, out of the Coast Guard, ready to start his, uh, enhanced education, I guess, whatever you call it. And he and I were roommates down at Glassboro State. That's where I went and graduated around 87.
Okay. Okay. And what did your final degree in that? What is that? Was it math?
No, it was a more practical thing, something more tangible. It was small business management.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right. How did you end up in Birmingham?
Yeah, well, this is where the miniseries begins.
Okay.
Uh, but the short story is that while I was at school at Glassboro, I had a really good friend, Bill Brennan, who introduced me to comic books, and I became an avid reader of comics. And after graduation, he and I opened a comic book store. In Birmingham, after running the comic shop and working for Blockbuster Video and working for Hammett's Learning World and dealing with retail business for many, many years, I decided I was going to work for a corporation and get a job that actually paid me money every week when I put in my hours. And I got a job at Blue Cross in the summer of 1998.
Okay.
And
So then between graduation and so that 10, 11 years, you were quite entrepreneurial, doing a lot of different things.
yeah, pretty much. There was there was the yeah, working for, having my own business, working in the comic book
And was
store.
that in South Jersey or was that in Alabama? Was
That
that
was in Moorestown.
Oh, okay.
It was a place called Comic World on 8 West Camden Avenue. You can look up the address, and it's not a comic shop anymore, for sure.
Okay.
But I did that. Also, yeah, to pick up extra money, I got into the cat juggling business,
Cat juggling?
and yes, I was able to go pro with that. Got published twice on the cover of Juggler magazine. You might be able to find that. But that was it was very stressful, and tired of all the scratches and stuff. But that helped to supplement my income uh, before I moved down to Birmingham.
So what year did you move down to Birmingham?
1998.
Oh, okay. So that was all right. Gotcha. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. And so have you had any opportunity to do any travel around the country or around the world?
Well, yes, my first wife, I've married twice now. My first wife was from Germany, so I would go to Germany to visit her family and stay there. My brother also had a wife from Germany, so that was also really nice. I would go out there and maybe like travel up to Emden where he was living with his wife Gabi.
Okay.
But
So
I enjoyed that. Yeah.
any other travels inside the country at all?
Well, yeah. I think growing up, of course, since my mother was born and raised outside of Tuscaloosa, Alabama, right? You
Oh,
know
okay.
that, right? Of course, you know that. No,
Okay.
you don't.
Okay.
But I mean, we go down like every summer and
Gotcha.
drive back and
W-
forth from
Was
New
that the
Jersey.
attraction to get you back to Alabama? That family connection?
A lot of it was, yes. My brother and his wife had moved down to Tuscaloosa. My sister got a job here in Birmingham, and at that point, most of my family and relatives were all down here in Alabama. So that was a big driving point for me to like look to get a job here as well.
Okay. Well, that's great.
Mhm.
So was there a teacher or a class at East that influenced you beyond your high school days?
Beyond high school days?
Or just
Well,
you know,
yeah, yeah, more or less. Well, there was Daryl Bear. The He was the jazz band leader,
conductor. Yeah.
conductor. He also had an electronic music class
Okay.
that I absolutely loved. And I don't know that there was any other high school that had some studio like this, but I recorded so many wonderful things on like a 4-track reel-to-reel tape. I wish I could like buy again to listen to these things because I don't know how to transfer them. But that was a great class. He also was the conductor of the jazz band that I was in junior year,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, Mike Michael Huff,
Mm-hmm.
Huff, Huff, whatever. Yeah, he was the leader of the Eclat
Mm-hmm.
and
What was the eclat?
oh, Eclat. That's the name of the secondary jazz band, I
Okay.
guess. Oh, here's an Easter egg for you. If you go to the yearbook
Mm-hmm.
and you look at like our 1980 yearbook, the names of the
They're
members,
switched.
they
They're
are
switched. Yeah. I saw
they
that. I was like
they're
going,
totally
these don't
switched.
match up. I know these people. These don't match up. Yeah, I was looking at that
Hmm.
before I got on the call with you. So yeah, that's funny.
They are right. Um, another Easter egg, if I before I forget it, is that if you look through the musical sections, you'll find a staff of music that I wrote, like I was the an art contributor for the
Yearbook.
Eidolon staff.
Oh, cool.
And there's there's a song, if you play it, it's terrible to listen to because the bass line is like in F sharp and the melody is in G. So it's terribly bad. But I'd love to hear if anyone actually like tried to play that song.
Oh, that's funny.
I used to play it on the piano, and it would drive people out of the room.
Okay.
Mhm.
So did you have a high school sweetheart?
Mm. I did. I had two. two notable ones. Of course, like the first girlfriend I ever had was Miriam Speen,
Mm.
and but that was not in high school. That was in elementary school.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like the last day, and she and I like exchanged our like name and addresses and phone numbers in like a little address book, and like for me, that meant you must be my girlfriend now, right? You wrote your name and number, but like it's really immature with relationships and girls and stuff. I think I had the nerve to call her maybe like 3 times that summer just to chat and say like, "Hi, how are you? What's the weather?" And so that was like a weird thing. But okay, so I would say also that I think if you knew my name and you said like hello to me or chatted with me, then I probably had a crush on you. But I would never tell you this. But so the first like real girlfriend I had was Terry Becker
Okay.
that I met through the high school marching band and dated her for a while before she ended up dating AJ Molly. And my second girlfriend was Jennifer Poole, Jennifer Colby.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Very nice. And your latest sweetheart, how did you meet her?
Wow. Another interesting story. It was not on a. I wasn't carrying a bass drum down New York City for a St. Patrick's Day parade. Uh, this time I was actually on vacation with another woman that I was seeing that had an extra ticket to go to a uh, all-inclusive resort, and I'm like, yeah, sure. And so I met my current wife there while I was out there visiting, and we just exchanged emails and decided that even though she lived in Louisville, Kentucky, and I was in Birmingham, that maybe we should see each other. And we did, and eventually she moved down here, and now we're living together here.
Oh, that's great.
Mm.
Did you have kids?
I had 2 sons with my first wife. They are 31 and 26 years old now. I'm happy to say that they are both living close by, that I can see them. One is 20 minutes away, one is 2 hours away.
Oh, that's great.
Hmm.
And do you still have friends from East you're in touch with?
Yeah. There are some that I keep in touch with, and others I wish I kept in touch with. But those that I do keep in touch with and have seen recently, there's Carol Young, and there's Jennifer Colby, and oh, here's another little Easter egg. If you look in the yearbook at the picture of the Eclat band, I'm holding a script for a song,
Mm,
and it's the song we played was called "Jump for Jenny," but I called it "Jump for Jennifer."
mm.
You know, she was my girlfriend. So I keep in touch with her, and we got together at her place uh, in South Carolina a little while ago. We want to get together again soon. I don't know when. Jennifer, you're listening? Okay. And I mean, there's others on Facebook that I do keep in touch with. Rob Thurston,
Hmm.
love to see him up to what he's up to. definitely want to check out his bike shop when he opens up in London and order a cup of coffee. I'll probably walk in disguise
Oh,
and be like a pain in the ass and say like, "Don't you have any tea in this place? What the hell? How do you open a coffee shop in London?"
yeah. So, do you have a standout memory from East, a high or a low? Anything particular that sticks with you inside school, outside school, with friends, just that, to this day?
The standout memory? No. A number of different memories? Yes. And as I know, I don't want to make this a mini series, so no.
Okay. Okay. So have you had a chance to go back into the school building since we graduated?
No, well, a chance, plenty of chances, but I'm just like living, uh, you know, uh, many miles away. So no, I haven't gone back to the building. I've heard from some of the earlier podcasts that you posted that people have gone back. I'm happy to see that a lot of the artwork is still up there. I know my brother had a mural up on like the third floor of Sea Wing. Uh, would love to see if that's still there. I'm guessing it is if they didn't paint over anything.
Yeah. Yeah. It would be
Mm-hmm.
interesting to walk back and see.
Mm-hmm.
So we're back in 1980 and you just graduated and you're looking down the road 40 plus years. Is this where you saw yourself?
Yes, exactly. In fact, I wrote on the submission for the yearbook. You know, proud father of two children, married twice, living in Alabama, working a corporate job 9 to 5 for 25 or more years, but it wouldn't fit. And they said, like, we can't put that down there. And I'm like, oh, fine. I'll just write some other BS down there. And I figured I'd pay kind of a homage to my buddy Elwin Hornado, who graduated the year before, who quoted Gentle Giant. And I said, like, well, why not, climb a hill with someone who loves you? And I'm like, why not live on a hill with someone who'll pay you? You know,
Okay. So did you have a dream job, at some point that you always thought, was it going to be a keyboardist in a in a touring band or
uh, no, no, I'd have to say that like being a keyboardist in a band really expanded a lot of the friends that I knew and met growing up. But I know that I didn't have the dedication or the talent to really make it big, in that I was just enjoying it while I was riding along. So no, that wasn't my dream job. I guess my dream job would be like to, I don't know, guess someone's weight at a carnival and and get it right every time and just like be wealthy that way, not having to work for anybody except myself.
oh, okay. All right. Do you still play keyboards?
I do not. No. It's been a long time. In fact, when I moved down to Alabama, I donated my instruments to the Goodwill to make money and hopefully just inspire someone else.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Did you enjoy high school?
Yes, I did. Yeah, it was very fun. Mm, yeah, I went through the classes, did that stuff, but it was mostly the social environment that inspired me.
Yeah. So best piece of advice you'd give your 18-year-old self, or maybe you gave your 18-year-old kids.
Hmm. Um, yeah, don't be afraid to express your feelings towards another person. Don't be shy. Open up. I mean, it's okay. I mean, your heart could break, but if you don't let that other person know, they might never know.
Mm. Yeah, good advice for us all.
Mhm.
All right, so I'm calling this our Fast and Furious finish. Again, as I've said before, it's not usually fast or furious, but here we go.
Mm, mhm,
Did you have a favorite TV show or a favorite movie or a favorite book from back
mm,
in our high school days?
uh-huh. I know I read a lot of really good books during, like, probably my senior year that were, like, sci-fi. Brave New World, Clockwork Orange, a lot of those modernistic books that were really, really good. But, favorite movies? Well, uh, there was Rocky Horror Picture Show. I would go there Saturday nights at the Echelon Mall. There was also, I think it was like the Friday midnight movie, but the Road Warrior
Mm,
I watched over and over again. I watched it so many times, like I knew where like the film had to be spliced because it had broken and they like re-spliced it. And TV shows, I would probably say Saturday Night Live was a big favorite and watched it devoutedly with a lot of my friends, or not, and would follow up with them to find out like what happened, so that when I came home, I could tell my parents like what was on that TV show.
okay. Did you have a favorite musical group, a favorite genre of music or artist back then?
Mm. Oh, without a doubt, it was prog rock. It probably still is. Like not knocking like a lot of the classic bands like The Who and Led Zeppelin and others, but for me, I was listening to Yes and Pink Floyd, Genesis, Rush, and most importantly, it was UK and Gentle Giant.
Okay.
Loved listening to them. It wasn't until later that I got it turned on to Frank Zappa, but who is my current favorite?
Oh, okay. All right. Um, did you have a favorite place to hang out with friends or maybe eat with friends?
Ah, no, no, not that I
Mhm.
could think of. Of course, in my high school days, I was working at Richmond, so that was a good hangout too. But you know, hang out there, I guess during off hours. But just mostly just other people's places, or just hanging out with them.
All right. Here we go. Did you like your
Mhm.
yearbook photo and your quote being ambition to live on a lone mountain in California and be a guru?
Yeah, like I said, space limitations led me to that. Uh, the picture's good. Uh, if you were to go back like 3 years, that's the same suit that my brother had. I had to borrow Richard's suit to wear, and and I went there for the photo shooting with my tattered jeans and the shirt and jacket and tie to get my picture made.
You're a man ahead of your time. I think that's a fairly common uniform today. So,
Mm.
what language did you take at East, and have you ever found it useful?
Oh, well, I took French. I studied French and thought, it was a nice romantic language. And yes, it was useful. I went to Montreal with a couple of
Oh,
friends afterwards when I was in college and spent a weekend, and it was very useful. I actually was able to flirt with a couple of girls from Montreal, and
all
and
right.
yeah, things were good. Yeah, but
Okay.
yeah,
Very
that
good.
was, I guess, the best use I made of it. I should have studied German; would have worked out better for me. But I learned that as I went along.
Sure. So lastly, anything you want to tell someone or anyone or everyone from class who might be listening? Your parting shots, as it were?
Be happy and make others happy. Do what makes you happy and do things that make others happy.
Okay, wise words.
Mhm.
Excellent. Well, Chris, thank you very much for being on the podcast today.
Thanks for your patience, Kara, for all of the technical difficulties we suffered through.
That's all right. That's all right. Well, if I'm down in Birmingham, I'll give you a shout.
Please do.
All
You're
right.
welcome. And
Thanks. Have a great day.
you too. I know.
Thanks for joining me on It's Been How Long? The podcast about Cherry Hill High School East students from the late 1970s and the early 80s. A shout out to my cousin Brad Corbett, whose podcast We Weren't Friends in High School inspired me to do this podcast and whose advice and encouragement have been so helpful. Thanks also to my husband, Randy Coughdale, who read all the fine print on the podcast hosting website so I wouldn't have to. And thanks to Jeff Lyons, content consultant and guinea pig, and to Deborah Smead, also content consultant. And thank you to all our classmates who are listening in. See you next week.